Joining us now from Jakarta is the Livestock Exports Manager for Meat and Livestock Australia, Michael Finucan. Thanks for being there.
Thanks, Tony.
It's a pretty tough situation you're in, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a great team up here. We've got 8 guys supplementing our team of 4 animal welfare people up here in Indonesia. They're out in the markets every night, out at the abattoirs. They're delivering a program that can help us ensure the welfare of cattle right through the chain. They're there working with the local operators to making sure that we can put in place some systems that will make sure we don't see those images again.
Did you and your colleagues, as Bob Catter has just said in the piece we've just seen, did you and your colleagues know about this for years and just not managed to solve the problem?
We've been working up here for many years and we've always known there's issues, and that's why we commit resources and time and energy and effort into being in Jakarta, being in Indonesia and delivering these programs. We're working in another country. There's challenges there. We've always known there's more to do, and we've always been upfront that that's what we're doing. We've put levies into that. We've funded it properly. We've funded it as much as we could, and we're continuing to fund it, and we will fund it until we get it right. So we're committed to this trade, always have been.
Let me just ask you this. How many Australian cattle are sitting in Indonesian feedlots right now waiting to be slaughtered?
I don't have the exact number. It's probably around 100,000 head. So we're working on a system with the operators up here to direct those cattle to abattoirs that have appropriate standards, where we've done extra work, where we know the infrastructure and the teams working there are up to a standard that we can accept.
That's an awful lot of cattle to be funnelled through a very limited number of abattoirs. From what we understand, there are remarkably few of the 100 abattoirs dealing with Australian cattle that can actually do this correctly.
What we've done is worked on a core group of abattoirs that we know will meet above the standards that we require to get those right initially. We'll be rolling this program out further to get additional facilities up and running. We've got strong commitment from the Indonesian importers themselves. They're investing further down the chain to help improve other facilities and get the standards up to what they have to be.
As I understand it, there are only 6 of the 100 abattoirs which take Australian cattle that use the stunning device, which stuns cattle and makes them unconscious before slaughter. That is not very many, is it? I mean, and isn't that in the end, because that's what the animal welfare people agree is the only way you can actually do this, isn't that in the end the only places you can send cattle that have stunning devices?
No, we feel we can send them to places that have good systems that manage the cattle, control the cattle during the process and get the right welfare outcomes. We're working to OIE. Indonesia is a developing country. We have to consider that. We want to deliver those OIE outcomes, and we need to provide them the right infrastructure to get that outcome. The stunning is important. We're committed to delivering more stunning. There's a number of operators already purchased extra stunners. We've got a program of getting involved with the local religious authorities and endorsing stunning and promoting that, and we've already got additional facilities coming online now.
Thinking here of a potential quick solution, even the animal welfare people, as I say, agree with the stunning devices, they're acceptable. So why don't you simply import 100 of them and put them in each of the 100 abattoirs that deal with Australian cattle and put Australian overseers or experts into each of those places for a period of time to save the trade?
Look, using stunning equipment doesn't necessarily mean a good welfare outcome. We need to train the people on the correct use of them. We need to get the systems in place to use that equipment, and we also need to get the acceptance of the local authorities and the local regional religious authorities that they accept it. So while we do have acceptance of stunning at some levels, we don't have it right across the country. So there's sensitivities, there's cultural sensitivities we must consider, and we're going to work with the local authorities to get more stunning in place.
Well, how long do you think that'll take? Because after all, the national religious authorities agree that stunning is halal, is possible under their religion. So how hard could it be to get this kind of equipment out to all the other places?
Well, there's a number of operators, as I said, already purchasing stunning equipment. You know, there's people who have got waiting on production of more stunning equipment. So the practicality of getting 100 stunners into this market isn't up to scratch. But we're confident we can direct the majority of the cattle through a key facilities where we're working. We'll ensure the welfare there. The individual operators will will work hard and get their own facilities up and running, and you'll see higher throughput through the current facilities. There's definitely extra capacity available at the current facilities, so we'll work on just getting more cattle to the right places.
But you're talking about sending in trainers to train people yet again, but as we know, Australian trainers from MLA had recently visited two of the worst abattoirs at Four Corners filmed at, and the worst of them all, the Godrung abattoir, had had 6 visits by Australian experts like yourself in the previous 14 months. This whole process seems not to have worked at all.
Well, what we've learned is that we need more intense training, we need more regular presence there, we need a lot more adoption of what we do. So we've now got a program where we're rotating a team through the abattoirs on a regular nightly basis. They're out there every night. We'll rotate them through the facilities, we'll have regular training, there'll be more presence. We're committing to putting animal welfare officers in these 25 abattoirs in the short term to make sure that they are there every night helping these guys get it right.
So are you saying that trade should not have been stopped, that you've actually solved the problem already? Is that the way you look at it?
I think that the stopping of the trade is going to hurt a lot of people in Northern Australia, and we're confident that we can direct the cattle to the right places and have a system in place. There's already systems in place here, Tony, that have stunning. They have an accredited supply chain the whole way through. So we're confident that the Indonesian market can accept cattle and manage them appropriately.
Well, I mean,
I've got
to interrupt you there because, I mean, you've just made the point yourself that it's very difficult to get the stunning devices out to large numbers of abattoirs. Only a tiny handful of them use the stunning equipment so far. The stunning equipment would possibly be a solution. But the problem is that Meat and Livestock Australia and LiveCorp have invented the steel box, which, according to the leading expert in the world, actually is responsible for the torture of animals.
Yeah, look, that piece of equipment needs to be used appropriately and properly and by well-trained people, and we didn't see that on Monday night last week. What we saw is people misusing an actual brutal cruelty, and that is not acceptable, and that does not occur in most of the places. We've got a system whereby we use it well and it works well, but saying that, we are committed to upgrading it and getting a better piece that controls the animal better. It's better control for the animal, and therefore the animal welfare experts will be able to be there and help the butchers correctly process cattle.
The cattle industry respects the advice of the American expert Temple Grandin, doesn't it? She's one of the world's leading experts on cattle management and the way to slaughter cattle humanely.
Yes, we do. MLA's had a long relationship with Temple Grandin. You know, she's got a non-stun slaughter box on her website, which uses principles that are around the world where people use non-stun processing, and so we'll be working to develop something similar and get it into many of these abattoirs.
But Michael, if you've seen what she said on the Four Corners program, she looked at the Australian design, the MLA LiveCorp design steel boxes, and she said they were atrocious. They shouldn't be used by a civilised country. She was outraged by them because they caused animals to drop out of the side of the box on their heads, to break their legs and hurt themselves, and that was part of the design.
The box is designed for a developing country with limited infrastructure and equipment in these facilities. There's limited power, so you need a system where the butchers working in the abattoirs can control the animals, get them on their side, and slaughter them appropriately. We need to make sure they do that quickly in a more controlled manner. That's what we're working on now, but we're committed to better designs and getting better equipment into these abattoirs.
But why didn't anyone figure out that the designs of these things in the first place, with their 45-degree concrete inclines, were pretty much purpose-built to make animals fall over and crack their heads on concrete?
But we've had independent people come through the market and assess the welfare programs and the equipment. They've said that used properly, it is an improvement on traditional slaughter and other methods used in the region. We've also committed additional funds to other programs. We've had a number of designs that we've trialled up here, and we've been working on an additional design, which is a box that controls the animal a lot more. It uses hydraulics and electricity, and it's got a lot more moving parts that can have issues. But we are focused on getting a better designed piece of equipment that meets this market's needs. It's a developing country. We're working in a growing nation, and we need to help put the right piece of equipment in there so that they can have access to cattle and then access to beef.
If the Australian cattle farmers are badly hurt by this trade, very briefly, do you think your industry association, which presumably has a stockpile of resources, money, should actually be paying the compensation?
Look, that's something for the board and the senior management. I'm here to deliver these improvement programs up here. That's what I'm committed to. Got a good team of people working here, and we're focused on doing that.
Michael
Get
Finucan.
this trade reopened.
Okay,
Yeah,
Michael Finucan, we'll have to leave you there. We thank you very much for fronting up tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you, Tony.